We're live.
Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. I am here with Teresa O. She's going to answer some questions and just have a good Q&A between her and me if you have questions for me. I'm just going to kind of give you a brief history of where I come from. I was 458 pounds 5 years ago. I started keto. I fell off the keto wagon several times, and uh, I went to a more dirty keto. Um, I cleaned that up and went mostly carnivore. And today I'd say I'm like 98% carnivore. And I've lost 198 pounds the last time I weighed a couple weeks ago. I'm sure I've lost more since then. Uh, I have cured my torn rotator cuff, my knee that needed knee replacement, diabetic leg ulcers, macular degeneration, and macular edema, and diabetic retinopathy. Um, and when I say cured, I mean it's not necessarily getting a whole lot better, but it's not getting any worse. I'm not going to go blind any longer. And I'm no longer diabetic, no longer on any prescription medications. So, Teresa, you can go give them kind of a brief history of where you're coming from and what you've done.
All right. I'm Teresa. A year and a half ago, I was eating the whole food plant-based diet. And I was also the sickest and the heaviest I had ever been in my life. I was 266 pounds. Fast forward to today, year and a half later, I am a strict full carnivore and I am down 116 pounds and the healthiest I have ever been. So there's that.
So, my retired Bob said I saw that shirt just a few moments ago.
You did. I wore it during our live earlier today.
Yeah,
I get a lot of comments on it. Everybody wants one.
yeah, yeah. So, I guess until we get some questions, I can ask a few. Uh,
Sure.
so, I guess one question that I have is, so you're just purely like beef or beef and eggs? Are you doing anything else?
At one point, I was strictly lion diet. Now I eat a lot of eggs. Um, and by a lot, I mean some days I'll eat six, and other days I'll eat 16 to 20.
Okay.
So it varies. And then every once in a while, I'll have chicken thighs. Um, I give the breast to my dog because we'll get those like rotisserie chickens from Sprouts or something, and I'll eat the legs and the drumsticks, and then divide up the chicken breast between the dogs. I eat bacon usually 2 or 3 times a week, but not very often. And occasionally I have ham, but mostly it's beef and eggs.
Okay. Right. So what are you doing for like drinks? I asked this mainly for my own curiosity because today I am officially have not had a single drop of Diet Mountain Dew, and I was down to 3 a day, and I kind of got a little bit of a headache, and I'm kind of going through some Diet Mountain Dew withdrawal, but I'm staying away from it.
Right. I've always been a big water drinker. I was big on soda um, before, but I easily gave it up. So I drink water, and in here I put 2 scoops of electrolytes. Usually it's Redmond Relight and
Okay.
some Keto K1000, unflavored because the sweeteners mess with me, and they're way too sweet. I can't handle even the smallest amount of sweet anymore. So
Okay.
I'm, I'm happy with salt.
Yeah. I It's weird. I've noticed today that I still have some problems with swelling in my right leg, and I've been told, and I had a venogram or something where the two-way valves. There's a valve that opens when the blood comes up your leg and it closes to keep the blood from going back down. And that from the years of high blood pressure, those are destroyed. But I've noticed today on No Diet Mountain Dew that swelling has gone down significantly in my leg,
Right.
which is really interesting. That may have been a big part of the problem all along. But I'm doing iced tea with a slice of lemon and a packet of stevia, and that seems to be helping with the cravings. But I eventually want to get off the lemon and the stevia and the tea and go and get the pure water. But I'm not quite there yet. It's
Yeah.
weird. Water, when I drink it, it almost leaves me more thirsty after I drink it than before. It's really weird. Um, but the other day, I did try putting some Redmond's real salt in my water, and that seemed to help that. So, maybe I'll try that too. But
Yeah, play around with it, see what you like. Like I used to really enjoy just plain ice water for pretty much my whole life, and now if I drink just plain water, it tastes weird to me. So I'm not used to not having electrolytes in my water. It has to be a little bit salty or it tastes weird.
okay, yeah, yeah, and I mean, I'm not doing any other electrolytes, but I figure I might need to start adding some salt to my water because there was sodium in the Diet Mountain Dew, right? So, you know,
Yeah.
um, but as far as magnesium or potassium, I do occasionally put a little bit of the no salt stuff, which is potassium chloride, on my meat or whatever, just every once in a while. But I haven't done any magnesium in 5 months, So, um, but I guess I'm doing okay on that.
Well,
So
yeah, meat has magnesium, so
yeah, yeah, and I'm trying to get to more beef, eat more beef, and it's really hard because beef is just so expensive here now, and there's so few sales. And like pork's always on sale for $1.59 or $1.49 a pound somewhere, But um, I am really trying to watch my omega sixes, and pork just has too many omega sixes in it. Because I think part of my macular degeneration was really the seed oils. When I went dirty keto, I started eating mayonnaise, and I went from having one jar of mayonnaise that would last me in the fridge for until it expired to going through 2 or 3 jars a week because it was low carb. I could eat all I wanted. I would just put it on everything. I would take the chicken or the tuna and make chicken salad, tuna salad out of it. And that's when my macular degeneration and macular edema really took a serious turn for the worse. And I had to get shots in my eyes every other month. I had to get my retinas burned with lasers to try to stop the bleeding. And then I have some macular degeneration where it's just fuzzy in that spot, and it'll
yeah.
be permanently that way. But I think the seed oils and those omega sixes were really what was causing that. And because when I went carnivore and dropped the seed oils, it just all of a sudden got better, um, or it stopped getting worse. Um,
Right.
so I'm really trying to watch the omega sixes. I found a lady at work that has backyard chickens, and she always has way more eggs than she needs. And she would sell them to me for $2 a dozen. I'm giving her $4 a dozen because it's cheaper than the $8 a dozen I have to pay for pasture raised at the store. And like the first time, I think she sold some to different people. And this time she's like, I have 5 dozen. Do you want them? Like, yes, here's $20. Because she knows I'll pay a little more, hopefully. And those are just like the best eggs. They're even better than the pasture raised ones at the store. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think I'm up to like 150 eggs in my pantry now.
yeah. So I did see someone left a comment on one of your videos that said, it was basically asking, uh, do you feed your chickens corn and soy, or what do you feed your chickens that grow your eggs?
I feed my chickens feed from Grubly, I believe it's called,
Okay.
and they never use corn and soy in their feed. And they eat lots of bugs. I also give them black oil sunflower seeds. I think that's what they're called.
Okay.
But never corn or any grains or soy. Never, no soy.
So I mean, you're in kind of a hot climate. So is there a lot of grass for your chickens to dig around and find bugs and stuff like that in, or do they find bugs?
Um, I have a small patch of grass that I let them play around in, but I can never leave them unsupervised. And luckily, I'm home a lot, so they get to go and forage and stuff. But we have a lot of hawks here, so and they like to sit on the trees outside and kind of just watch my chickens. And I'll go out there every once in a while, I'll check on my chickens, and I'll look at the hawks and I go, I'm watching. I'm watching you, watching my chickens. I
Yeah.
want you to know you're not getting them. So,
I
um,
know somebody that had chickens, and they had a large bird in the chicken coop attacking the chickens. And he like drove home from work. His wife called him. He's going to get his gun and shoot it. And come to find out, it's a bald eagle in the chicken coop. So we can't kill it, And they eventually got it out and got it free, but somehow it got inside there and then it couldn't get out. But it was attacking the chickens. So I know like birds will come and try to eat those chickens.
right.
um, so I have a question. Liz C says, I use a clear drink enhancer for my water, similar to Mio. How bad is this? I hate water. I don't know what Mio is, but
It's like these little squeezable things that you can add to your water to kind of enhance the flavor or whatever. Liz, that's a hard thing to answer because I don't know what's in it. If I knew what was in it, then I could answer. 9 times out of 10, there's some unsavory things in those. And I know it's really hard to drink plain water if you don't like it. I do use True Lemon, which is essentially freeze dried lemon, like it's a real lemon. And that is good to use because it's just lemon. So until I see the ingredients that are in your specific enhancer, I'm going to go with no. See, artificial flavor bothers me. Sucralose, that's sugar. So if you're trying to break away from sweet taste and get away from carb addiction, then you want to avoid that. And artificial flavor, believe it or not, can be anything that the company wants. That is their kind of loophole to add things um, without actually listing what it is so that consumers will buy it. They're all like, oh, well, it's
yeah,
just flavorings. But did you know that you can get flavorings from what was that animal? Did they use the beaver? Like the beaver's anal glands, or was it an otter's anal glands?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's one of those little animals. Yeah, they use the liquid that's inside their anal glands and they put it in our food. And that's really disturbing. But they don't have to list specifically what it is. They can hide it under
That could probably be
flavor.
natural flavor.
But yeah, scary stuff.
So let's see. Al Creations has a question. Teresa, what is the name of the electrolyte you use in your water?
Okay, so I use Redmond Relight unflavored and Keto K1000 unflavored. The Keto K1000 has 1,000 milligrams of potassium. And then I mix it with the Redmond Relight, which has 1,000 milligrams of sodium. So that way I can make sure, especially when I'm doing OMAD, that I get enough potassium. Because if you're only eating once a day, you gotta make sure when you're fasting the rest of that time that you keep up with your electrolytes.
Yeah. Robert F. Harrison says aloha.
Aloha.
Yeah.
I grew up in Mililani, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And see, Liz said, Teresa, no color, artificial flavor, or sucralose.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be okay.
So it's no artificial flavor or sucralose, but what that helps a little, but what is in it?
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I bought some of those squeezable little things, and I'm going to try them later. And mine is 0 calories, and the flavors are made from real fruit but they filter the sugar out, so there's no calories. And then the it has stevia in it for a sweetener, but just a little bit of stevia. I figure if I just really get to where I'm wanting something sweet because I can't have a diet Mountain Dew, I'm gonna drink one of those instead. I'm gonna try to
Yeah.
limit them.
Yeah, Liz, if you can tell me what it is, I'll look it up real quick and let you know in a few seconds whether or not I would
Yeah.
have it.
Ellie88 says, I hate to say this, but natural flavor can also refer to fetal human products. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it depends on where it's coming from. Like the anal gland ones, I would
Yeah.
completely avoid that. But if it's like, human breast milk or something like that, that's no big deal. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. We don't have any other questions. If you guys have a question for me or for Teresa, make sure you ask it. And I guess we'll think of something else to talk about in the meantime.
Oh
So,
yeah, there's plenty of stuff.
is the meat that you get? I know you said you're addicted to, or your preferred meat is ribeye.
Yeah.
Um, are you doing like plain grass fed or plain corn fed ribeye, or are you doing all grass fed, or some of both, or?
Well, okay. When I first started, I didn't really know a lot about buying meat or cuts of meat or anything like that. So I went with Butcher Box. And then I got to pick and choose different cuts and kind of build my own box. And it was all grass fed and, pastured organic chicken, stuff like that. But I started reacting to the chicken. So then my box became all meats. And I wasn't I wasn't crazy about grass-fed meat. I didn't think it wasn't as fatty, so I had to add a lot of fats in. And the taste was a little bit different, and I don't know, overall I just didn't like it that much. And so I started buying regular steak from regular cows and everything, and I like it better. Plus it's cheaper, so I can buy more.
Yeah.
And my son's a big steak eater, so in order to really being able to afford to feed multiple people on this diet, um, grass fed is difficult in more than one way. So I eat
Yeah,
regular.
I think too, like grass fed can be different. This is something Dante Ferrigno pointed out. Grass fed can be the cows that are stuck in a field and they're eating the last little nubs of grass clear down at the ground and getting worms and all kinds of stuff like that. Or it can be a real grass fed cow that's eating long, healthy, nice, tall grass.
Right.
Um, and he just recently bought a cow from a local farmer that raised them in long, tall, healthy, long grass, and he says that meat's amazing. So I
Yeah.
would like to do that, but I'm looking at between $3,000 to $4,000 by the time I buy one and have it butchered from a local farmer. So it's going to be a while
Right.
before I can afford that.
Right. No, I'm with you. That's it would be nice, but I'm gonna eat what I can, and it doesn't. See, I'm like really sensitive to ice. It seems like everything, but the fact that I can eat regular, grain-fed steaks and I'm not having a reaction, um, yeah, that's good. And I just make sure I keep up with my omega 3s to counteract any omega 6s, and I feel really good. So
So
can't really complain.
what are you doing to increase your omega threes? Are you taking an omega like a cod liver oil or a fish oil or something like that, or are you just eating more things with omega threes? I mean, I imagine your eggs are probably pretty high in omega threes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I eat a lot of eggs. I eat cod liver. And on the days that I don't eat cod liver, I take cod liver oil.
Okay. Yeah, I tried cod liver once, and the first time it came, and it was packed in soybean oil. I'm like, well,
Oh,
that's not going to work. So
that's
I
cool.
ordered some that was actually packed in cod liver oil,
There
and
you
it was
go.
the nastiest thing I've ever put in my mouth besides salmon.
No,
It was horrible, and my cats wouldn't even eat it. Yeah.
really? Well, I have kind of an advantage being half Japanese and eating a lot of fish and seafood growing up. So, but I love it. And try cod liver oil. It's much milder. And I think that you can get it flavored. They have mint flavor, and I think they have a couple others that might be more appealing if you really can't stand the
Well, I
taste.
can probably stand it long enough to swallow a spoonful of it or whatever.
You only need a teaspoon. It's a
Yeah,
teaspoon a day.
yeah. But trying to eat the cod liver was, yeah. I do love liver, but not cod liver. So, yeah.
It's an acquired taste.
Robert Harrison says he gets panda massage ground beef, but regular steaks.
There you go. And
That's
that's
right.
good too, because it's usually if you're going to run into problems, it's going to be in the ground beef.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I bought a pound of the Kroger's private selection veal the other day. I'm going to try that. Like,
Nice.
first time I've ever had it, so it'll be interesting. But it was $12 for 1 pound.
I don't know if I can do veal.
Yeah.
I'll try filet mignon, but I have a problem with veal.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just I'm looking for things that are mostly grass. That I guess naturally eat grass. They might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fed corn, but naturally they would eat grass. They have multiple stomachs. What do they call that? The ruminant animals. I'm trying to find more of that type of meat to eat. Somebody who hunted at work or who hunts brought in a bunch of deer meat and put it in the freezer and said free for anybody who wants it, and I took it all. Um, and that's really good, but it's really lean. It doesn't have much fat on it at all, but it's really
Right.
good. Um, yeah. Oh, Giga Fox says she has a problem with veal as well. I don't what is veal anyway. I don't know. I think isn't it like a sheep or something, or I don't.
No, no, they're baby cows,
Oh, okay,
and they
okay.
don't let them walk, so they're kind of like chained to stay on the ground so that they can't stand up, and
Oh,
um,
wow, yeah.
their muscles are never worked out, so they don't toughen up. They stay really, really soft, and so yeah, I can't I can't I can't eat a baby animal, and a cow that's lived its life, experienced living out on the pasture and being around other cows and just being free and stuff. Okay, but I can't do the baby cows.
Well, I'm eating the pound that I bought because I paid $13 for it, but I might not buy
No, and
it.
Andy didn't know what it was.
I really I've never had it before, so I didn't know. I thought it was a
Yeah.
different animal other than a cow altogether. Like, but
No, no, yeah, it's referring to the age of the cow. Yeah. I can eat lamb too. I can eat lamb. You know what? I don't even think, is it really a lamb though? I think they use the word lamb because it sounds better than sheep chops. So I think they
okay.
use lamb because it sounds better than, hey, I'm gonna have some sheep chops.
And I have had lamb chops before in my life, but not anytime recently. I might look for some of those. That, you know, those might be good.
Yeah, I don't think those are actually baby animals, but I would have to look that up.
So I know, like in our interview, we had talked about cheese, and like I limit my cheese pretty severely, but you occasionally have some cheese, but it makes your throat irritated, kind of makes you cough and stuff. I had a question that said, "Is the cheese you eat processed or pasteurized?"
I don't know. I get the Vermont white cheddar. It's a hard cheese. I'm not quite sure how it's processed. I know Dr. Berry just always tells me to stick to the hard cheeses, avoid the mozzarella, and obviously the processed cheese. But and I cheat with it, so I don't have it often. Maybe like once a month because I don't want to get snotty. I don't want to get at least not all the time, and I don't want to gain weight either. I've gotten so used to not having it that I can live without it, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice.
I would say I don't know. I imagine the cheese I eat's from pasteurized milk or whatever. I mean, it's probably pasteurized, but I don't think I'm saying processed cheese is like Kraft American cheese singles and the little plastic things. It's not
Velveeta.
that. It's like
No, yeah, no.
mozzarella, cheddar, Parmesan, that kind of stuff. Um, and I have to limit it not because it gives me any kind of reaction like that. It just makes me kind of have no energy. It makes me stalls my weight loss. It might make some muscles just a little bit sore when I eat it. So I have to eat it in very small amounts and just every once in a while.
Interesting.
So, here's a question. Do you drink coffee on the carnivore diet? Do you drink coffee, Teresa?
I have never liked coffee.
Oh, okay.
I think I've drank coffee maybe 3 times in my life, but the only way I can stand it is if it was loaded with like a flavored creamer and sugar.
Yep.
I can't stand black coffee. So yeah, I just don't drink it. You can if it doesn't bother you and it doesn't cause you any issues. Then yeah, you can have that on carnivore. I'm not going to judge you.
So I drink coffee. I used to drink a lot more coffee. I mean, I used to have like a whole pot before I stood up from the kitchen table and went and got my shower and got dressed in the morning.
Oh my.
Um, and I used to load it up with that really cheap powdered creamer stuff. And that stuff's actually flammable. You can take and pour it out and light a lighter, and it's like, yeah,
Shut up.
that stuff's like really bad for you. And I used to fill it up with Splenda packets. And before I was diabetic, it was real sugar packets. Um, but now, I mean, I drink it black most of the time, and I probably only have a cup 3 or 4 times a week. And I don't have to have it, but I smell it and it smells good, and I'll have a cup. Once in a great while, I'll put a little heavy whipping cream in it. Um, Although I did have 2 cups today because I'm trying to quit the Diet Mountain Dew and the caffeine helps. So,
Yeah. Yeah, like I love the smell of coffee. I absolutely do. I can't explain it, but I hate the taste.
yeah,
So I don't know why that is, but when we're in the store and I walk past the coffee, I'm just like smelling it, and
yeah.
it smells good, but I hate the taste.
Wow. So, someone did ask on your video. I'm just going through some video questions
Yeah,
that are
sure.
good ones while we're waiting on more people to ask us some questions. They said, "What is the lion diet?" Would you like to handle that one?
Sure. The lion diet is the ultimate elimination diet, designed by Michaela Peterson and her father. And it is ruminant animals, salt, and water. And that's it. So, yeah, that is like the least anti inflammatory diet. And if you are sicker than sick or really need to heal, that is the diet to go to.
Yep.
And I was lion diet for about 5 months, and yeah, really rapid healing and rapid fat loss. It was nice.
Yep. Someone else asked a question. They said this is a genuine question. So a carnivore diet is all meat, no vegetables. I'm not into fruits, but what is the harm or difference a few veg per day will do? I've heard people say it's because plants have toxins to protect themselves to not get eaten, but that makes no sense.
Well,
So this is a person
uh,
who's asking a real question, I think, about the diet. They're not trying to promote plants or anything.
yeah, and it is a legitimate question considering what we have been told over and over and over again, how healthy plants are and how many vitamins they have. And here's the thing about plants. Um, the nutrients that are in plants, on the other side of that, there's also anti-nutrients. Um, Plants can't, this is how Dr. Chafee explains it. Plants, they don't have legs, they can't get up, and they can't run away. They also don't have claws to defend themselves. So their defense is chemicals, um, phytates, lectins, all of that stuff. It prevents you from absorbing the nutrients that it does have, or just makes you feel bad. Like some people eat plants and then they have horrible stomach cramping, um, or they just don't feel good, period. I would say read The Plant Based Con. That is a really good book. And it explains more of it. If you go to Dr. Chafee's channel, you'll really find information about plants and stuff like that. And the thing is, when you compare it to meat, meat has more, and there's no anti-nutrients preventing you from eating it. The other benefit of meat is it's more bioavailable. Our bodies recognize meat better than it does plants, so our body will also digest it and absorb the nutrients much better than we do in plants.
I mean, I would say, I guess, my kind of answer to that question is, hey, if you're eating a standard American diet and you want to switch to more of a keto diet that's high in meat but includes a few veggies that are low carb, you should go for that, right? And But if you're really having a lot of problems, autoimmune conditions, stuff like that, you might want to skip the veggies and let that stuff, just let your body clear everything out and then try to reintroduce it. I would also say, as far as the toxicity to plants, I really believe that some plants actually do want to be eaten, and that's the way they reproduce. They produce a berry, you eat the berry with the seeds, you go poop it out somewhere else, and another raspberry plant grows. So I think if you're going to eat, avoid like leafy greens, right? They don't want to be eaten. They're going to be higher in toxins, and eat things like spaghetti squash, which has the seeds in the squash and it wants somebody to take it and move it somewhere else and throw those seeds out. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
if you're really having problems, you may not be able to handle plants right now. You may be again someday, years from now, when you're finished healing. But right now, you might just need to clean it up to just meat. So,
yeah. And, if you're wanting to eat plants because you believe they're healthy, okay. But like I said, meat is complete. Everything that you need is in meat. And in fact, when I was on the plant-based diet, I had to supplement. So a plant-based diet would be an incomplete diet, especially for humans. So if you want to eat it just because you enjoy eating them, that's fine too. But try to keep in mind that some plants are high in oxalates, and oxalates bind to calcium, and that's how you get kidney stones. So
yeah.
try to choose low oxalate foods, and you can Google that. You can Google low oxalate food list, and also keep in mind that most of the vegetables, even the fruits that we eat today, aren't exactly natural. They have been bred to be
Mhm.
bigger, sweeter, more resilient to weather so that the crop survives. And yeah, they're not even that natural anymore. What
So
our ancestors would have eaten.
I have this from a lot of my friends who are also Christians, and they say, well, God made the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve ate fruit. And I always say, well, it didn't work out so well when Eve ate the apple. But, uh, you know, I also bring up that most of there wasn't corn in the Garden of Eden. There wasn't
Right.
wheat in the Garden of Eden. Those are man-made creations. Guess what? Broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Those are man-made creations created by crossbreeding wild kale. They didn't
Yep.
ever exist. Tomatoes existed, but back then they were poisoned before we crossbred them and made them so the leaves are poisonous, but the tomatoes aren't. So it's important to realize that a lot of the vegetables that you eat today are not the same. Bananas
Exactly.
are completely different than they were when they were natural. Now they're bred to have a high sugar content. They didn't used to. So,
Yep.
um,
And another thing to keep in mind that broccoli and cauliflower, those aren't even vegetables. Those are flowers. They're actual
yeah,
flowers.
yeah,
And if you have like Hashimoto's thyroiditis or any kind of thyroid issue, you want to avoid broccoli, period. Just don't eat it. Find something else.
yeah. So here's another question. Giga Fox asks, "How do you guys feel about chicken?"
I'm good with chicken.
Yeah. Um, I try. I mean, I'm trying to eat less chicken because I can't afford like somebody's healthy pasture raised chicken, and
Right.
the corn and soy they feed to commercial chickens make them a much higher in omega sixes, and I'm trying to watch my omega sixes. So
Yeah.
chicken is one of those things that I will have once in a while. I'll fry chicken wings and bacon grease, or chicken legs and bacon grease, or chicken thighs and bacon grease. I always eat the darker meat except for the wings. I really like the wings. But it's a once in a while treat kind of thing for me.
Yeah, I try to eat based on what I'm craving because if I really listen to myself, then my body will tell me exactly what it needs. And It really just craves red meat and eggs. So that's, I'd say, about 95% of my diet. Some days I crave butter like crazy, but every once in a while I'll crave some chicken. So it's not a no for me. It's just I don't eat it often.
Okay. Here's another question. I tried to do carnivore twice, but it kind of didn't work for me as it made me bloated and so much and felt like every time I ate, it drained my energy. Why is that so? I am mostly ketovore and I do LMNT. Hmm.
That's a good question. I would need more details, exactly what you were eating, and
Yeah.
I mean everything, because this is what I do in Dr. Barry's group when I get questions like this. I'll send a direct message and I'll be like, okay, I want to know every single thing you ate and drank, and I will pick it apart and dissect it, and I will find what's causing this. So you could have an issue with histamines in aged meat. You could be eating chicken, fish, shellfish, bacon. I don't know what you're eating. The best thing to do is to do an elimination diet and go completely lion. So beef, salt, and water. And then do that for 5 days at least. And then one by one, add in a new food and then see how that affects you. And then you want to put about 5 days in between each introduction. So if you want to bring in chicken, you try chicken, and then notice how you feel for the next 3 days specifically. If you have no reactions, wait 2 more days, so a full 5 days, and then bring in bacon, for example, and then do the 5 day test again. Really see if you can notice any kind of reactions within the first 72 hours. And so it seems a little daunting and time consuming, but if you really want to find out how your body reacts to things, that is really the only way you can do it. Because I mean, if you're just trying all kinds of things, sometimes reactions take 24 to 48 hours to even show up in the body. That's why it's good to wait 72 hours to see if it's affecting you.
Yeah. I would say all that plus, how long did you do it? For one day and you felt kind of funny and you quit?
Right.
Plus,
Or even 2 weeks. That's not
yeah,
enough time either.
yeah. And what is your ketovore diet like now? Is it full of keto breads and keto brownies and keto cupcakes? Or is it a clean keto? Because you might just be going through, some of that keto flu kind of experience as your body's cleaning a lot of that stuff out.
Yeah,
So,
and you do have to go through a detox the first couple of weeks, and for some people, it can last 4 weeks.
yeah.
So if you're really feeling crappy and run down, that's probably carb detox. Your body is going through all of that detox from the carbs, plus your body is trying to switch from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. And that's a lot going on. So if you can just get through the initial first stages of the beginning and the detox, then you'll make it. It gets better, it gets easier.
Yep. Here's a question. Creative Soil, I've been doing carnivore for about 3 months. What do you do for consideration? I just started drinking smooth tea. I'm not sure what they
I'm
mean by for consideration. Maybe
I think
hydration?
they mean constipation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, autocorrect. So I would say up your fat. Um, if you're eating like 80/20 and you're still having constipation, then add magnesium citrate and start low. As for green tea, I personally cannot have green tea. I used to drink it like crazy. It's high in oxalates, and I've had two kidney stones in my life, so I know that I need. Well, I now know that I need to stay away from high oxalate foods. So that's something to consider. Also, if you have like joint issues, that also could be a reaction to oxalates. But it can also at the same time be a reaction to dairy. So just keep in mind that most teas, like green tea, black tea, are very high in oxalates. And so if you want to get away from that, I think white tea is okay. Peppermint tea is really good and is good for digestion too. But yeah, as far as I mean, write in the comments what you mean about constipation. Like, are you curled up in the fetal position in pain, constipation, or you just haven't gone in 3 to 4 days and you feel fine?
No.
So if you're cramping really bad and it's painful, then yeah, get some magnesium citrate and that should take care of it. Or eat some butter and see how that works.
Yeah, I would say, I guess I would just add a couple things to that. One is, do you have a gallbladder? I don't have a gallbladder. And
No,
I
I don't
know
either.
that when I don't take enough ox bile and I've eaten a high fat meal, it'll affect my pancreas and make it kind of go back into pancreatitis again, because I was in intensive care for 10 days with pancreatitis and told I was the sickest person in the hospital before I had my gallbladder taken out. And that's only because it hurt for like a week and a half before I finally went to the doctor, So, um, and so I will get constipated and I will know that I needed to take an ox bile when I ate. So what I do is, if I eat a lot of fat, I wait 2 hours, let the stomach acid work on it. Then I take the ox bile, because the ox bile will help to neutralize that stomach acid, because it normally gets released just after your stomach from your gallbladder. And that's its job, is to break down the fat and neutralize the acid. So you don't want to take it right when you eat, or you get low acid in your stomach, don't break down the food good enough. And the other thing is, when I get just a little bit constipated or it's getting a little rough down there, I just have to up my salt. Yeah, and that helps take care of it. So um, that's another thing you might try. You know. Uh, what? Okay, here. What about vitamin C? You can't get it from meat.
Yes, you can. Meat
How's
has
your scurvy doing?
everything. There is vitamin C in meat.
Yeah.
And when you're a carnivore, you don't even need that much vitamin C. You need
Right.
much more vitamin C as a plant eater. But vitamin C is in meat.
So sugar and fructose deplete vitamin C in your body, right?
Yep.
They use it up, and that's why oranges, which are really high in sugar and fructose, are also really high in vitamin C, right?
Because they have to be.
Right, or they would, be bad for you, and they are bad for you, but they would be really bad for you in a different way.
Yeah.
Um, and so um, you don't need much vitamin C, and you can reprocess some of your vitamin C and keep it around. You get some vitamin C from the meat that you eat. Um, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't have scurvy yet. So I think I'm
No,
fine.
me neither.
But
I'm
that's a
good.
really common question that I get a lot. So,
It is because we've been indoctrinated. No, you need this and you need that. And the message, or I should say the facts about meat have been demonized and buried for so long. Nobody believes that meat has all of these vitamins and antioxidants and all this great stuff. And it's really sad. But I mean, it has more than plants. But
Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
Oh, here's one from Little Blue Mustang. Eating dairy? Question mark. Well, we already talked about cheese, but what about other forms of dairy? I have some heavy whipping cream once in a while. I have some sour cream once in a great while. I occasionally will have a spoonful of my wife's cream cheese or cottage cheese, but that's like a once a month thing at the most. And I'm assuming
uh,
you're not doing any dairy, right? Or
no,
besides the cheese. Yeah. Okay.
I have no desire to. But if the craving came up, I would have some. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. And here's another comment from I retained water weight when eating dairy and cheese, so I had to abstain from it, or at least
Yeah.
currently. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you
Well,
probably shouldn't eat the dairy. Yeah.
every human on the planet after the age of at least 7, I think is the latest, um, has a sensitivity to dairy. All humans, we stop making that enzyme. And a lot of people are just downright intolerant of dairy. So they have immediate reactions like phlegm in their throat, snot building up in their nose, popping ears, postnasal drip, stuff like that. It can also cause bloating, stomach cramping. Everybody will react differently, but so yeah, all people have a sensitivity,
Yep.
and some people have just downright intolerance.
Yep. I have a family member can't tolerate dairy at all. Ever since she was a little girl, she drinks a glass of milk. She goes outside and throws up. I mean, it's really bad.
Okay.
So, you um, sometimes I use unpasteurized milk. Where do you buy that at, man? There's nobody in Ohio that sells that. Like the FBI will show up and raid you if you sell that here. But mostly I use the lactobacillus or the homemade cheese, but that is rare. I've been doing hamburger, liver, water, and green tea. That sounds great. The green tea, though, I think can be kind of bad, right? Is it? I've heard that green tea is kind of high in something bad or something, and you shouldn't drink it.
Oxalates.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, in fact, you said that before. Yeah. No, might consider regular tea. Some good old black English tea.
Nope, black tea is high in oxalates too. White tea.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm drinking black tea right now, so oh well.
Well, if you're good. See, I have PTSD because I have pulled an oxalate crystal out of the back of my shoulder and my eyeball. So when you pull out shards of
Wow.
glass-looking substances from your body, you tend to be like, nope, I think I'm going to pass on
Yeah.
anything high oxalate.
Well, if the tea gets me through the Mountain Dew craving, the Diet Mountain Dew cravings, I'm still good with it. I've
Yeah.
never had any kidney stones or any problems with oxalates, but I've never eaten a ton of plants. But I used to eat. I probably ate more plants and veggies when I first started keto than ever.
Right.
Uh, just because I was looking for something I could eat besides potato chips. You know? He also says he quit coffee last week. That's good. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
I know coffee drinkers. I'm so sorry. I refer to it as seed water. I know you guys love your
Yeah.
coffee, but I can't drink it.
It's roasted seed water. Yeah.
Roasted seed water.
It says thank you guys. This is a person who
Yeah.
left a comment about not feeling good on the carnivore. Thank you guys. I'll give it a try again soon, as Teresa said. And ketovore, I do eggs, pork belly, and air fryer and steaks with salt and pepper. Add some fruits and strawberries and blueberries. So
Yeah, not too
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Let's see if there's any other questions. Oh, Creative Soil sent a message back. She's the one that asked the constipation resting. Said not cramping, just one bowel movement a day. That's actually normal.
Congratulations. You are not constipated. Yay. So I love it when I get this. So here's why you're not pooping as much. Okay, on the plant diet, you get a lot of fiber, and there's a lot of things in plants that are not useful to the human body. So when you have a bowel movement, you are disposing of waste. And waste is anything your body can't use. So if you eat plants, about 99% of that is just going to come out the other end because we can't use it. Our bodies can't use it. When you eat meat, um, almost all of it is just utilized by the body. That's why you don't poop as often because you're not eating waste. You're eating everything the body needs. It's what we evolved on as a species. Our bodies use the meat to build muscle, to build hair, to build fingernails, to repair things that need repairing inside of our bodies. And so you might eat an entire 20-ounce ribeye. I can guarantee you probably less than an ounce is going to come out the other end. Your body will use almost all of that. But you eat a big bowl of salad, yeah, it's
Yep.
all coming out the other end because your body's all like, well, what the hell is this? What do you expect me to do with this? This is not what I'm supposed to eat. I don't need this.
I mean, you
So
can
yeah,
usually look in the toilet and tell exactly what kind of salad you had.
uh, there you go. There you go. So yeah, a lot of people who just start out, they automatically think they're constipated because their bowel movements come to a standstill. But hey, you are just fine, and your body is using everything you eat pretty much, and celebrate it. You don't have to spend that much time on the can.
Yeah, I would say that I probably go an average of once every 2 days, sometimes
Yeah.
three, and I'll be thinking like, I probably should have to poop pretty soon. I haven't gone in a while, and I just wait, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I have to go, and I go to the bathroom, and 30 seconds later I'm done, and I'm washing my hands.
Yep.
It's yeah.
Yep.
Uh, okay, one more question. What do you guys think about Carnivore plus ADF? Is that okay to combine these things together? I don't know what ADF is.
I please explain
Yep, yep,
what ADF
sure.
is.
Um,
I'm trying to think.
let's see if she maybe has put that down here anywhere. No, I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully she's still watching and she'll put what it is. And Aquarianus, do you eat eggs often? So you can go into your egg thing.
Every day.
Yep.
Every
And
single day. There's not a day that goes by I don't have eggs.
did you say you were up to like 4 whole eggs and 9 egg yolks or something though?
I don't know. Did I do 4 whole eggs?
Or maybe it
I
was
know
you
I,
were doing 2 and you went 3. I can't
I
remember.
know I can do 3. I
Oh,
don't know if I've tried 4 yet, but I can eat unlimited egg yolks. So I have kind of a problem with whites, but I think it's getting better. So uh, yeah, I usually do 3 whole eggs and like 9 egg yolks. That would be a meal. That'll fill me up.
okay. Okay. When you say you fasted for 3 days, did you water fast or meat fast? Well, meat's not fasting.
Right. Now that's feasting. Yeah. A fast is liquid. I mean, you can't even have bone broth without breaking your fast. So it has to be water. Electrolytes are fine as long, yeah. You just can't, if you eat anything with protein in it, then it's no longer a fast, you're feasting.
Yeah, yeah. And as far as fasts go, I say this all the time. I didn't have a YouTube channel back then, so I didn't record any of it or anything. I was much younger. I had just recently been diagnosed as diabetic, and ex-girlfriend dumped me. I went through a really hard time. It's the first time I ever got dumped. I was always the one that did the dumping, and I was going through a rough time. I had to go see like a psychiatrist, and like I was just really upset about it. But I just decided I was going to not eat and I was going to lose weight. So I found a woman that wanted to be with me because I was really fat, and I fasted for 90 days, and I
Crazy.
had nothing except for diet soda. I drank diet soda like crazy, which is probably the reason I didn't have to have any salt or electrolytes because the diet soda is full of sodium. um, but yeah, and I lost like 85 pounds. And I wasn't diabetic for about a year after that. I mean, I didn't have to be on any medications. My A1Cs were great. Then I met my wife, and we went to the Italian restaurant and started eating pasta and breads and more pasta, and I became diabetic. So
That'll do it.
yeah. Uh, um, but after the first like 3 or 4 days of fasting, I didn't care about food. I just didn't care. I wasn't hungry. So the human body is actually designed to go through times when it can't eat. That's how our species has survived. Um, let's see. Well, heck, late anyhow. Try as I might. Hello from the Nevada desert, all you fine humans, hand pink waving. Okay, all right, all right. Oh, okay. Here's a one. I disagree on the poop aspect. As babies, we are designed to eat, digest, absorb, eliminate. I don't think the body absorbs all that meat and that fat that one eats in one day. Well, I guess it must come out in my sweat then.
Same here.
You know, it does. It does. It uses it very efficiently. The liver can turn that fat and protein into ketones. It can turn it into glucose. It can use it to rebuild muscles, rebuild tissues, fix cells. I mean,
Hair,
it's
skin,
using
nails.
all of
Yeah.
that stuff as the building
Yeah.
blocks for your body.
And not to be gross or anything, but when I was on the whole food plant-based diet, oh my gosh, like 2 or 3 times a day. And I mean, these were huge bowel movements, like huge. And then on carnivore, when I finally do go to the bathroom, they're very small. So where
Yeah,
is it going?
yeah,
I must be sweating it
yeah.
out then.
That's the other thing is like I poop like every 2 or 3 days, and it's just a little bit. It's not a whole
Yeah.
bunch. Yeah. Um, And as far as like babies were designed to eat, digest, absorb, and eliminate, we're designed to eat breast milk as babies, not salads. So, yeah, the digestive tract is different in a baby or an infant than it is in an adult. Um, Teresa, can you please share your salt loading routine prior to workouts or in general?
Yes. So 90 minutes before you go to the gym, you want to consume a teaspoon of salt. So, yeah, 90 minutes before you go to the gym, teaspoon of salt. You can either drop the salt into your mouth and chase it with water. You can mix it with water and then drink down the salt water. I prefer capsules. So, I make these little capsules, and 4 of these equal 1 teaspoon. So I take 4 of these 90 minutes before I go to the gym. Um, when I get to the gym or right before I start the workout, I pop 1 more of these capsules. So this would be 1/4 of a teaspoon. Um, and then I have a smaller canteen, and in here I put 2 scoops of electrolytes and then drink this throughout my workout. And basically, what salt loading does, it increases your blood volume, and that will send more oxygen into your muscles. So you will be able to go longer, lift heavier, and lift more. So you can your rep count increases. You can increase the weight. You just get better. Um, if you want to learn more about this, then I suggest The Salt Fix by Dr. James D. Nicolantonio. And it will tell you everything you need to know about salt and why it's so important. But yeah, you do not need carbs. In fact, the glucose, like if you're ingesting the carbs, you're going to have to burn that off first before your body even taps into your fat stores. So if you're straight up carnivore and you go to the gym and you salt load instead of carb load, then you're immediately going to start pulling from your fat stores anyway.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, that's the same question. Okay. We're for being constipated off and on for years to our normal, easy bowel movements every 2 to 3 days. It's awesome. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Uh, before even on the keto, I would get constipated, but before that, I was taking stool softeners and trying to go, and yeah, it was terrible.
It is.
Terrible.
And the conventional advice for relieving constipation is to eat more fiber, but that's what's causing the constipation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think there's like magnesium is a good acts as a laxative. But
Citrate, yeah.
yeah, if you really can't go, you probably should see a doctor, or consider something a little stronger than that, like a stool softener or something, just as a one-time thing. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the other one with the ADF. How do you feel about Carnivore plus ADF? It's alternate day fasting.
Then yes, that is perfect.
Yep.
As long as you're not white knuckling it through the fasting. Sometimes people will jump into carnivore and they'll immediately start fasting or like doing OMAD, and they haven't even fat adapted yet. I highly don't recommend that. When you start carnivore, you should just be eating every time you're hungry and eating until you're full. Now, it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 weeks to get fat adapted. And what fat adapted is your body has completely switched over from being a sugar burner to being a fat burner. So fat adapted is you burn nothing but fat and you no longer require glucose as energy. So in the beginning, when you have the cravings and your energy is feeling kind of because you're detoxing and stuff, and your body is trying to learn how to live without glucose as an energy source. So in the beginning, I personally recommend that you just eat. Just eat. And then once you become fat adapted, sure, fast all you want. But if you're white knuckling it through fasts, you're actually hungry and always thinking about food, then that's not a good situation to fast in.
Yeah, I would also say I did a video about this, and there's some things I didn't mention in the video. One is that I no longer have this problem. Two is that it's when you're first beginning carnivore. But I said like I see so many people that say I went on a fast and my blood sugars went up to 250. And this is crazy. Well, number one, you're probably not completely fat adapted yet. Your liver's still making glucose. You're still insulin resistant. You know, so you need to just go ahead and eat when you're hungry for a little while longer, and then try fasting. You know, was kind of the point of that video, but a lot of people kind of took it wrong. But I've been trying to fix that in the comments. So, um, here's a good one. How many times do you eat daily on meat?
Currently 2 times, except the week before my cycle, I'll eat 3 to 4 times a day for like 5 days before my cycle starts. I just get really hungry. So yeah, those 3 weeks, I'll be happy with 2 meals a day, sometimes even OMAD. But that 5 days right before my cycle, easy 3, 4 times, double my food intake.
Yeah, I think basically eat when you're hungry, but I usually either don't eat breakfast or I skip lunch, one of those two, and then I always have dinner. Um, Sometimes I'll skip breakfast and then I won't get to eat lunch, and sometimes then I'll get busy and fixing cars and I won't eat dinner either, and I don't eat the whole day because I'm tired when I get home and I just want to go to bed. But hunger is different when you're on a carnivore diet. You're not like ravenously, I have to eat right now or I'm going to die. It's just like, oh, I'm hungry. I need to eat sometime soon.
Yeah. Now in the beginning, when I first started, I ate 3 to 4 times a day. I was
Yes.
just so used to eating multiple times a day on the whole food plant-based diet that my body was just used to always being hungry. I think it took maybe 3 to 4 weeks, and then I naturally dropped down to 2 meals a day, and then I naturally dropped down to 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
And I was OMAD for 8, 9 months.
Yeah. So I would say too, like if you're fighting the carb craving, switching over to this kind of a way of eating, keto or carnivore, um, you need to just eat. And what I would do is make 5 pounds of meat and eat it till you can't eat another bite.
Yeah.
And that will help you not want the bag of potato chips anymore. Right.
Yeah, I just drown the cravings.
Yeah. And then eventually, yeah, it'll just kind of happen naturally. One day you'll like run to work and be like, oh, I forgot to get breakfast. Oh, well, I'm not that hungry. And that's when you know you're getting fat adapted.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so, okay. My comment was, I friendly disagree though. I am here for a reason and not the reason. And the reason is after 13 years of plant vegan, I am not doing well for a recent severe health crisis.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry
That,
that you're going through that, and I hope you heal soon.
yeah. I think getting off the vegan and eating the meats probably the right way. Have people ask me all the time, like, I had a heart attack. Can I do carnivore? I had cancer. Can I do carnivore? I have this. I have that. They all have this different medical condition, and they've been told they need to avoid fat and avoid meat. And I always say it's the proper human diet. Every human, no matter what the condition they're in, will see a benefit from eating a proper human diet instead of all this processed garbage.
Yeah.
So will it heal everything? Not necessarily. It depends on how sick you are and how broken your body is, but it's going to help.
Yeah.
Um, oh, here's a good one. Where can we get that shirt?
I got this from Etsy, and sadly, the the shop is closed.
Oh,
But
there's
you
places
can
that
you
make
can
custom shirts that you can just type what you want it to say. You know.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what this guy did, and but I bet the other sellers on Etsy would do the same thing. You
Yeah.
just gotta add, just send them a message and say, "Hey, do you do custom shirts?" And most of the time, they'll make it for you.
Yeah. I got one. It doesn't quite fit yet. It's a 1X, and that 1X is running a little smaller than my other 1Xs, so it won't quite fit yet. But I'm waiting until I can fit into it. It says, "I enjoy taking romantic walks down the meat aisle."
Yeah, I like that.
Um, that looks like about all the questions. We've been on here about hour and 15 minutes. It's probably time to wrap it up here pretty soon. Uh, do you have anything else you want to say, or?
No,
Okay.
I was here for anybody who had questions. That I mean, I'll
I think
just
I think it was a great live stream because we got to answer some really specific questions for people and problems that they're having, you know. And as much as I like to just have live streams that just constantly go on, like the carnivore diet is great, it healed me, it fixed me, you got to do the I like to answer specific questions that people have because people
yeah.
have a lot of questions when they're finding out about this for the first time. And
Yeah, we know what it's like to start out on something new, and I didn't have this kind of thing when I was starting out. That's why I didn't even have electrolytes when I first started carnivore. And I was
yeah.
like, "What's wrong with my legs?"
I would also like to say, like, you want to join Dr. Barry's group, I'll put a link down below this live stream here after it's over. Um, it says tribe that he calls it. It's the phdhealth.com, I think, or .org. I don't
That
remember.
community.
Yeah. It is a really good group. You can join for as little as $5 a month, and it is a great place to go to get your questions answered from people like Teresa, people who really know a lot and can help a lot. And it's also a great place just to post a picture of your latest carnivore meal or get an idea about something you might want to try eating, you know. And they're really open to not just strictly carnivore, they're really open to the keto diet as well. So a
Yeah, it's a
lot of
spectrum.
people a lot of people have to start off on keto and they do great on keto and they never have to switch to carnivore, and some people have to go carnivore and then figure out what they might be able to add back in later. So um, yep. All right. uh, RV there yet says grateful for your time, guys. Thanks so much for showing up. Meat eaters tend to be such an awesome community in general.
Yeah, anytime.
I certainly am nicer than the vegans that are sending me death threats, and the lady from the carnivore cancer channel that talks about carnivores that got cancer and died that said she can't wait to do a review on me.
Wow.
It's like,
You know,
I
there's
don't
this
want anybody to die, including vegans.
exactly. And you know what? There's this nice little thing called karma. Whatever energy you put out is going to come back to you times three. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, that's it. Thanks for joining us, Teresa. Having a live stream.
yes, thank you. We should do it again.
Oh, bye. All right, in the broadcast. There we go.